Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first match preview of 2022. It's a championship match this weekend, Luton Town versus AFC Bournemouth. And I've called upon someone who was in the wet and wind of Yeovil on Saturday. Matt Davis, how are you?
Yeah, very well, Kirk. Thanks. All just about recovered from that ordeal at the weekend. But yeah, all good. Thanks.
So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, please help us grow. Also, at some point in the video, hit that like button. It really does help the channel. And we want to get your thoughts at the end of this video in the comments. But Matt, should we get on with the first match preview of 2022?
Let's do it.
Our last match was against Yeovil, but we need to go back to our last championship match. It wasn't Peterborough, that got postponed. It was Cardiff. And Matt, it looked like it was going to be one of those games again that we were going to need to dig in deep. But eventually, the game pretty much had everything. It had goals, it had sending offs, you had banter between the fans. Christie, his first goal away for Bournemouth in sort of clinical style. Lerma's goal was taken away from him in the end, and Dom Solanke got to 18. Remind ourselves of that 3-0 win against Cardiff at home.
Yeah, I'm just trying to recall it. Having been a little bit unwell over Christmas myself, I did watch the game on TV. I thought it was nip and tuck, wasn't it, for the first, probably most of the first half. The sending off obviously changed the game, but we were 1-0 up by that point. Great to see Ryan Christie get off the mark, albeit it took a deflection. He can't just do things simply, can he, the lad? But he's claimed that he's got the goal, so that was good. Bacuna just lost his head out of nowhere. You could see it coming, couldn't you, for a couple of minutes? I think he picked on Anthony, picked on someone else, and then a horrendous challenge on Billing. It was probably about 3 red cards, I think, let alone 1. And from that point, we just controlled the game. We had to be patient. And I know fans were getting frustrated. I could hear it within the stadium, watching on the TV and in the second half. But, when you're playing against 10 men, they're going to settle. They're going to make it very difficult. You have to be patient to try and break them down. And I thought we executed that perfectly on against Cardiff. And in the end, comfortable, wasn't it?
It was, and it was back-to-back clean sheets. It was back-to-back wins. And we went into 22 with confidence. We thought that if that Peterborough game did go ahead, that we could really kick on again and put some distance between us and the playoffs. But, it was a good confidence builder, and getting that win at Yeovil, that is 3 wins on the bounce for the squad.
Yeah, massive confidence, and it was much needed, wasn't it? Because we were in a really difficult spell. And I think along with many others, I said I feel fully confident that we'll turn a corner and we'll come out of this. And touch wood, it seems like we have done, starting with a great performance away at QPR, where we arguably should have won by more, but we just seemed to be more together in that game. More, there was more of a tempo, more of an intensity, and we seemed together as a team more in that game, throwing our bodies in the way of shots, making sure that QPR didn't really trouble us. We were back to our old selves from that moment onwards, from that game onwards, really, and that's the way it's continued. So it's been great the last couple of weeks.
Our opposition then this weekend is Luton Town. They're currently 16th. They've only played 22 matches though, and we have got an opposition view coming up very, very soon. But give us your thoughts on Luton, Matt. We did struggle against them last year, didn't beat them. They're one of those teams with a stadium compact, maybe a difficult day. We will have to bide our time potentially in this fixture as well. But they are a side that will give a lot of teams like a run for their money.
Well, having done a little bit of research on them, they're an absolute mixed bag. You just don't know what you're going to get from them. They've been so inconsistent all season. Even their managers admitted how he's frustrated by their level of inconsistency. I think I was looking through their results today. They smacked Coventry 5-0 and lost 5-0 at home to Birmingham. They've run Fulham close. I think they drew 1-1 with Fulham. They've run West Brom close. Got some, picked up some really good results where you sort of think, they're going to be tough opposition, but they've also, there's some shockers as well. And at Dean Court, I thought they looked good. I thought we were lucky to get away with a 2-1 that day. They had many a chance in the first half to, go 1 or 2 goals up, and then they had some chances near the end to at least get a draw out of it. So I was quite impressed with them. So I'm expecting a tough game. Like you say, Kirk, it's a tight stadium. They're a bit like ourselves. They'll have 9,000-10,000 packed in there. They'll get behind their team, and they'll be hungry for it. We're there again now, aren't we, to be shot at top of the league. So I'm expecting a tough one.
Well, let's get a Luton perspective now on our first opposition view of 2022. We'll do that right now. Welcome to our first opposition view of 2022, and it's great to welcome on Dylan from Oak Road Hatter. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Luton Town, and some of the bits you do.
So Oak Road Hatter, we're a relatively new podcast. I started doing it last year. We just did a big relaunch as well. On New Year's Day, we relaunched our website, and so check out our Twitter and our website. Got some lots of content coming there. And I've been a Luton fan since I was 6 years old. So conference days, and obviously when our two clubs were down the bottom of League One, wasn't it? So long time ago that. But yeah, no, I've been a Luton fan for a very long time now.
And as always, the details will be in the description, so make sure you check it out after this video. But Luton Town this season then, Dylan, 16th, only played 22 games. I know you just recently played in the FA Cup, but you haven't played in the Championship since the 11th of December. That was a 1-1 draw against Fulham, I think. So tell us what's been happening since then and your season so far.
It's been a good season. I think obviously we haven't played many games. We've had a month off, so we just played Harrogate in the cup, and we won 4-0, but we were we were a little bit rusty, I think. But the season's been good. We over the summer we recruited quite a young group of players. People who hadn't played much games at this level or in senior football. Even so, it's taken time for things to just gel and people to bed in. And we've kind of been a team where our underlying numbers have been really good in terms of our expected goals for and against, have put us really high, and we've just maybe not quite shown the cutting edge that we could have done, and just conceded silly goals as well. And I think the reverse game at the Vitality kind of summed that up really, because we thought we played quite well, and you guys just showed that what top championship teams do, which is just score goals. It'll be a great game, and we've had a good season so far. We're quite pleased, I think.
You have brought up that first fixture. I was there in the North Stand. We looked quite comfortable at one point, although you should have taken the lead through Adebayo. He definitely missed an open goal, and that was lucky for us. But we were hanging on at the end in that game, and Mark Travers made an absolute worldie save. But you must have felt like you probably deserved the draw come 90 minutes.
Yeah, we definitely felt hard done by, and I think everyone was. Well, after the game, Nathan Jones said he got it tactically wrong in the first half. We started 4-3-3 and then changed it to what has been our usual three at the back with the front two, and that just gives us a bit more ability to get it forwards quicker, press a bit higher. So yeah, when we left that game, we definitely felt like we've more than matched a top championship team who will probably be looking to win the league. And that, as I said, that kind of summed up our feelings on the group, which was that we're putting in great performances. You can see the tools are there. There's a lot of good young players, but we're just not quite finding that little bit to just push us to that next level. But we've slowly found that, that reverse fixture was a real good kind of litmus test for us in terms of where we're at. And overall, it's all very positive.
Now, if you're a neutral football fan, it's definitely a unique stadium that you're definitely going to want to tick off. But also, this season is the place to go. There's goals going in at Kenilworth Road. There's a 3-3 against Swansea. There's a 5-0 win for Luton. I think there's a 5-0 loss for Luton as well. I mean, what's been going on at home?
Yeah, it's been interesting. Obviously, I mean, anyone who's visited Kenilworth Road, as Luton fans, we're quite used to the old tweet about, oh, look at me walking over someone's garden and blah blah blah. But yeah, no, it's been crazy. The 5-0 loss to Birmingham was very early on in the season. It came out of nowhere. Then we beat Coventry 5-0, who were absolutely flying at the time. totally played them off the park. The 3-3 against Swansea, we were 3-0 up at half time, cruising, and then conceded 3 in the second half. That kind of sums up where our season so far. It's been a bit crazy, but we finished really strongly before we obviously had the big break from December the 11th with a really good draw against Fulham at home. Before that, we beat Blackpool 3-0 away, which was very good. So I think we're at the start of the season, we showed that kind of inconsistency where just crazy things would happen. I think now we're just starting to find our rhythm and starting to find that consistency. Even though we went on a little bit of a bad run, the performances were there, and it's just now about. It'll be interesting to see how we kind of restart, because obviously we had a long break, and it doesn't come much more difficult than Bournemouth.
Tell us about some of the players then. We know we saw them in the first game, and there is a certain striker that I always worry about this season from what I've seen. But tell us some of the players that may help you in this fixture.
Well, as you say, Elijah Adebayo, our centre forward, signed him last January from Walsall in League Two. Fantastic bit of recruitment. He's big, he's physical, he's athletic, he can run in behind, he's clinical in the box, even though obviously when you guys saw him, he missed an open goal. Scored a great goal against Harrogate on Sunday, took it on the edge of the box, turned and shot. The other one to look out for, probably slightly more under the radar for non-Luton fans, but definitely not under the radar for us, is Cal Naismith, centre half. Signed him again last January. Oozes class, plays left of the three or middle of the back three, and his distribution, his ability on the ball is amazing. And I don't know how someone else didn't pick him up, because when we signed him, he was known as Mr. Versatile. He could play everywhere from goalkeeper to centre forward, but he's found a home on the left of the three or through the middle of the three in the last 3 weeks, and you'll see on Saturday he's a brilliant centre half.
And as a Luton fan, what are you worried about with Bournemouth coming to town? I mean, Dom Solanke's 2 goals away from 20 championship goals. Is that it, or is there more that you're worried about in this Cherries squad?
Well, yeah, I mean, Solanke's the obvious one, but it's the people who are feeding Solanke. Billings been outstanding all season. I think with Bournemouth, what always strikes me is just how athletic you guys are. Obviously, we know Jack Stacey really well, overlapping down the right, and then you've got Anthony on the left. Christie's dropped off a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's dropped off a little bit coming off the right, but still an amazing player. Lewis Cook, should be in the Premier League. So there's a lot. Solanke's the obvious one, but I think the people supplying Solanke is just as worrying. So it will be a good game and a good test for us.
No, you passed your homework. You did very well on Bournemouth there. I mean, Christie did drop off form, but he did get a goal against Cardiff, his first goal for Bournemouth. So maybe he's back into form going into this game. So final thoughts then on this opposition view then, Dylan. How do you think the day's going to go? And can we get a score prediction from you?
Oh, I think it'll be a 1-1. I think we'll match Bournemouth because we're good enough to do it, as we saw against Fulham when we more than matched Fulham and when we played you guys earlier. But who knows? Because at the end of the day, you have Premier League quality in forward areas and people who can make things happen out of nothing. But I'll be optimistic for us. I think we'll get a point.
And it is a tough place to go. We got nothing really out of Luton last year. I think it was a 0-0 draw, if I can recall. It was some final moments on the line or whatever from Begovic. So yeah, really appreciate this for us, Dylan. And make sure you do check out the details, as I said to anyone watching this, in the description. But we wish you all the best for the game. Well, we hope you don't win the game, obviously, but we wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
Cheers. Thanks, Kirk, and likewise.
Cheers. So you mentioned that first fixture between the teams, Matt. That was a 2-1 at Dean Court, and I think Luton will be hard done by. I think they probably deserved a point on the day. I can remember that Mark Travers save, and also talking about bodies on the line, and we've needed a few this season. Do you know that Luton have had 6 clearances off the line? That's the most in the Championship. That is a mad stat that I found when I was writing some notes for this game.
So Luton have cleared 6 off the line, or they've had 6 cleared off the line? They've cleared 6
off the line.
That is a crazy stat. Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me when you look at them this season. Anything goes, I think. They've had that sort of season, haven't they, so far, where you just do not know what you're going to get from them.
So Scott Parker has added to this squad. We know that there's a few transfers coming in. They're going to want to really prove themselves in training this week, Matt, and we're going to look at that predicted 11. But are you expecting a little bit of pressure on Scott Parker for players wanting to start this game?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly with the two lads that have come in, both, particularly Ethan Laird, he seems capable of stepping in straight away, doesn't he? So I would imagine he'll be pushing for a starting place. And the signing of James Hill looks like an impressive one as well. One for the future. Big investment there, not a massive investment from us, but what it is a great investment because we can develop him. He's already playing at League One level. He's already establishing himself. So that looks like a really astute bit of business to take him for £1 million. But I don't expect him to maybe be involved for a little while. I think it will take a little while for him to break into the team, particularly with what we've got at centre of defence. But Laird, I expect to be banging amongst it. And, going back to Luton very briefly, they seem to set up these days with a 3-4-3 or maybe a 3-4-1-2. And they play with a high intensity, so they'll press us high, but they do like to play expansive football when they're in possession. They like to control football matches. The wing backs for me, the full backs on Saturday are going to be key because there too, I think they've been playing. I think it's Bree and Bell either side in a 3-4-3. So they're up and down, and it's going to be a real battle on the flanks to see who wins that battle. We've got to make sure that we push our fullbacks on. Laird and probably Leif Davis could be key to that.
So you've done your homework on Luton. So I'm going to push the predicted 11 over to you, Matt, on this preview. So are you ready for it?
I am indeed.
And on the screen, you will see Matt Davis predicted 11 for this game. You'll see Travers in goal. He's going straight in. Laird to start. Cahill, Kelly, Davis, Lerma, Lewis Cook, Philip Billing, Christie from the right, Anthony from the left, Dominic Solanke up top. Right then, Matt, take it away. Talk us through this starting 11 to take on Luton away from home.
So, touching on what I've just said, the way that Luton will set up, I think this is the team to combat it. Really, we need pace on the flanks, and we've got that in both Davis and Laird, who are both great going forward. Maybe a little bit questionable defensively. We know that Leif Davis can be. So that's where we've got to make sure that we push our fullbacks high and we win that battle in the midfield. Going on the fact that they've been playing two in midfield, I think against Fulham they had Ruddock and Campbell in there. You'd like to think that with Lerma, Lewis Cook and Billing, we can dominate that area as well and really start spraying some balls and using the flanks and using that width as well. They also play with a back three. There's a bit of experience in the back three, but it is a little bit aging. I think Sonny Bradley is in there. Cal Naismith and Reece Burke as well was the last back three that they played against Fulham. And they managed to limit Fulham to just one goal. It ended 1-1, of course. I like to think that if we can get the fullbacks bombing on and get behind them, win that midfield battle, then you've got 3 against 3 there. And Anthony, Solanke and Christie, who have all got creativity, they've all got pace. They can cause some real problems, I think, for Luton Town. So this, for me, is the only lineup that we can go for in this match. This is the one.
But before I let you lock that in, Matt, I'm going to throw a curveball in. And
Go
you
on.
know what? What's a better way than to settle Ethan Laird in as a right-footed fullback than putting him left back and keeping Jack Stacey in the team? Do you want to consider that?
That is hell of a curveball, Kurt. It's not one that I like, and I know that you're throwing it in. It's not one that you like. I know that for a fact because it will affect the whole balance of the side. I can understand what you're saying because Stacey has been a bit hit and miss this season. Certain games he's performed really well, and other games he's been terrible, hasn't he? You think back to Derby away, being a particular low point for him. So I get why you would go that way, maybe, but not for me. I think maybe Jack Stacey needs to drop out a little bit like Jaden Anthony. Maybe needs a little spell out of the team, maybe for 2 or 3 games. A, to give him a bit of a kick up the backside, and B, to just take him out the firing line a little bit because he has been a bit hit and miss in recent weeks. So I think it's relevant. Laird has been on fire for Swansea. If you listen to a lot of their fans, they're so disappointed to lose him. So he's tailored, he's ready made. He's played 21 matches at least in the Championship for them. He's fully up to speed. He's on fire. So let's let him go. Let's let him have it.
Well, I'm not going to push it any further because, like you said, I don't really want it either. But I'm just throwing it out there. We've seen it before in Bournemouth football teams. But we're going to lock this one in. This predicted 11 for this game. Do you agree? Disagree? Let us know in the comments, and we'd like to know what other players potentially you would put in. So, Matt, we go into this game potentially with another chance to do a double over another football team in the Championship. How are you feeling about this game? Do you have a score prediction?
You've got to feel confident. There's been a bit of negativity around, hasn't there, in recent weeks before this recent run of results came about. There was a lot of uncertainty. We were losing football matches. We weren't scoring goals. We were shipping maybe one or two at the other end. Things have been going wrong. But since QPR, as we touched on earlier, I think you'd have to be confident. It won't be easy. They won't make it easy for us at all. And like I say, they have got on paper a good blend of youth and experience within their team that can cause us some problems. You think of the likes of Cameron Jerome, Onyedinma, I think, whether he plays Harry Cornick, of course, whether he's going to be fit. So they're well capable of causing us some problems. I just think if you look at the two sides on paper, you'd have to say that we should have the edge really, and we should win the game. I'm going to go for a close one. I think 2-1. It's got 2-1 written all over it, and that's my score prediction. But just to touch on a point, and before we close out the show, Kirk, please, if anybody disagrees with me on this, then please say so in the comments, because it'd be great to hear some feedback from other supporters on this. I just feel, and even going to Yeovil on Saturday, that there's sort of an air of expectancy about our fan base at the moment. And I felt it or noticed it in the Cardiff game. You might not have noticed it so much if you were at the game, but on telly, a goal goes in. When we went up from the Championship last time in 14-15, there was so much passion every time we went forward, every time a goal went in. The noise from the stadium, home and away, was electrifying at times. It was a great atmosphere. I'm just not feeling that this season. And, I feel it's wrong because, we're not going to be given anything in this division. The expectation that is sort of come with us, with the fact we've been in the Premier League and the players that we've got at our disposal, there's almost like that air of apathy and expectation amongst the fan base. And I don't know if you agree with it, Kirk, but I think we need to step it up a little bit as supporters.
Yeah, I think it can be strange at times. I can't remember what match it was, but it was a very, very strange atmosphere. And at home, we can be the 12th man. And at home, sometimes we can really struggle to get the team over the line. So Matt's going to be watching those comments. Let us know your thoughts on what Matt's just said in the comments. I'll be watching it as well.
Please
but
do.
yeah,
I'm going to be interesting to see.
I'm going to go on your wavelength with the score prediction now. I'm going to go for 2-1 as well. I'm going to agree with that. I think it'll be 1-1. And I think we'll nick it in the second half. So we want to get your score predictions as well. Also put them in the comments. Thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and help Cherries Red Army continue to grow. Hit the like button as well. And also we want to thank our channel supporter members. You can become a channel supporter member at buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army, or you can simply make a one-off donation at the same web address, and really help us grow. We'd much appreciate it. Matt, thanks for joining me. You're going to be at the game? You're going to be there?
Yeah, I'm going on Saturday. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'll be there. So yeah, looking forward. I've been to Luton once before, but it was a long time ago, back in the late 90s, I think. I think Jamie Vincent might have scored, and we drew 2-2 in that season where we should have made the playoffs with Mark Steen and co. So I remember going there then, and it was a really characterful, old-fashioned, old-school stadium. So I think you have to go through somebody's back garden to get in the away end, and through somebody's house almost. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of the ones I've been looking forward to all season.
And make sure you check out our socials, because we might be doing a watch along on Saturday. So if you're not going to the game, you want to join us on YouTube, get all the emotion where you can. We all have guests as usual. So yeah, watch out for that on our socials for a potential watch along. But from me and Matt on this match preview, if you go into the game, look after yourself, make sure you drive safe, enjoy the game. Let's hope the Cherries can continue with maybe a 4th win. See you on the next video. Up the Cherries.
Up the Cherries.